Welcome to the association. I'm Zach Harper. That's Mo Dakhil. We just watched the Minnesota Timberwolves defeat the San Antonio Spurs 114-109 to even up the Western Conference semifinals at 2-2 apiece. Mo, I don't even know where to start. This game was ridiculous. We had a lot go on. We had Wemby get ejected. We'll get to that. But just first thoughts on what we just watched between the Wolves and the Spurs.
Zach, I need like a 20-minute break. I gotta come back. I need to go catch my breath. This game was absolutely insane and so much fun to watch. I know we're getting the highlights now, and it was just from the very beginning, the Wolves being aggressive, trying to go at Wemby in the paint, and Wemby still forcing some U-turns and getting lobs without barely jumping, and that's a lob over Rudy without barely jumping is pretty impressive. And across the board, everything that you had in this game, this was a phenomenal game. Like, this is why we're in the playoffs. Like, I'm so happy. It's so exciting.
Yeah, I think you saw a lot from both teams in this game, and obviously the Spurs played so incredibly well once Wemby had been ejected in the second quarter. And you and I were talking during that time of like, hey, Minnesota may need to get up 15 at half here because the Spurs are going to have a third quarter. Well, they didn't do that. I think they're up like 4 or 6 points, something like that at halftime. And the Spurs came out there, took control of the game, but Anthony Edwards, 36 points, 16 of them in the fourth quarter. He was able to respond in a big way. Dylan Harper was phenomenal in this game off the bench. Just two guards going at it all night long.
Yeah, I mean, this was a true battle. I mean, when we get to the Edwards highlights, and I'm taking this jersey home, by the way, just so you know.
Sure.
Like, when we get to the Edwards highlights, it's amazing watching the duel, kind of the back and forth, and the way he kind of took over in the fourth quarter. And it wasn't just him. Nas Reed had big plays down the stretch. You had, Ayo Dosunmu making some big plays despite struggling. This is Harper really helping the Spurs they built up a pretty solid lead in the third quarter and were doing a good job. And again, we were going back and forth going like, man, they're looking really comfortable even without Wemby. This is a big problem for the Wolves. But, they got that guy, man. They got number 5. He's going to work, dude.
Yeah, no, he was incredible. Something to really focus on, too, for the Spurs side of this. Once Wemby went down, Luke Kornet stepped in and was unbelievable. Look, he wasn't Wemby in the paint. Nobody is. But his verticality was great. He was blocking shots. He's grabbing offensive rebounds. He's getting some putbacks here and there. I thought Luke Kornet just did an incredible job considering the conditions.
Yeah, I think, the Spurs really ran into trouble, especially in that third quarter and midway through the fourth when they went small because they took Kornet off the floor, and that opened up even more of a driving lane for the Wolves to continue to attack. And here we go. This is the stuff we were talking about with Ant beginning to go to work. He drilled 1-3, drilled this 3 right here after the Spurs started doubling. The Wolves did a great job getting it out of the double team and then finding him again. Like, we're seeing some big-time stuff here. Off this miss, he takes it right down and gets the big bucket, puts them up 2 scores with 2.5 minutes left. I mean, I don't have more to say. Like, this was absolutely amazing watching Ant, who is still nursing a knee injury, and going completely ballistic in the fourth quarter to will his team to a 2-2 series.
Yeah, that is our association player of the game is Anthony Edwards, 36 points, 16 of them in the fourth quarter. He was 13 of 22 from the field, 3 of 5 from deep, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. And Mo, we were both talking about this as we watched it. There are plays where he's getting into the lane, he's getting layups, he's getting to the rim, but when he's on 2 healthy legs, these are punches, right? Like, he's dunking on people, he's dunking on Kornet. He'd be, really forcing this into the rim, and he's, little dunk there, great, but you're used to seeing him, really get that thing back and throw it home. And with Ant, he was measured. He was, really careful in the way he attacked, but still didn't fall in love with the jumper despite the bad knee, still getting to the rim, getting into the paint, and putting pressure on that Spurs defense.
I mean, this right here would have been the poster room, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's normally what we would have gotten. We would have put him in the poster room. We would have been going nuts and going crazy. But really also, I think part of it is him saving himself for this big push in the fourth quarter. Look, we know this Wolves team without Dante. Ayo's still a little bit banged up. You had a bunch of guys taking hits throughout the course of this game. they need Ant, more importantly, in the fourth quarter. So having him save himself a little bit, saving some juice, as long as they keep it close, he'll get you back in the game. We just saw it, and we're watching the highlights now of him going nuts. He'll get you going. It was 2 for 2 from 3, was 6 to 8 from the field. I think he finished with 16 or 18 points in the fourth quarter alone. Like, this is the stuff you want. And this is the franchise guy. This is exactly what you want from your star player showing out when your team needs you the most. Because let's be honest, with Wemby's ejection, if they went down 3-1, this thing's over.
Yeah, it absolutely would have been over. We do have Timberwolves head coach Chris Finch at the podium. We'll hear from him now.
Chris, you're down 8 there in the fourth quarter. What did you see from your group collectively to dig this one out?
It's just more physicality, standing up these drives. They were bullying us in the paint for a lot of the time leading up to that, and we weren't doing a good enough job of standing up those drives right there. Rebounded well. Obviously, Ant got hot, and we rode that a little bit. So.
I know you've seen Ant keep these before, but with almost a season on the line here, and to see him come through like that, just how do you sum up what he gave you?
It was awesome. He was special. This is what he loves. This is what he lives for. Not just big games, but big moments. And I thought, for the most part, when he wasn't doubled, he got to his stuff quick and clean, and just kind of figured out how to get separation, and that was just all that he needed. So.
Chris, just with Ant and kind of seeing him put together a lot of good playoff games over the years, where might this one rank in terms of the circumstances with his knees and everything that's been bad?
I mean, up near the top for sure. I can't. It's hard to go back and think about all of those games when you just coming out of a game like that, but certainly up there. I thought he's kind of. That's who he is. That's who you need him to be. We're lucky to have him, and he's special, no doubt, especially given what he's been fighting through over the last month and a half.
We had 30-second chance points in Game 3, 24, I think, tonight. Just kind of how important has that been, and what sort of focus have you told the guys in that area throughout the series?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't finish the ball. We didn't finish well tonight. Our offense has been kind of hit and miss through most of the series, but we got to go out and find other ways to score. And we haven't been able to really get our transition game up and running like we like to. But we are winning the glass right now, and that's huge. I mean, none was bigger than Nas's putback. So then we got to make those plays, like those small plays, those 30 plays, those whatever it take plays.
Good time for the big lineup.
Yeah.
You put it in there like when you were down, it seemed. Cornet had come back, but a lot of their guys were tired. That lineup has been really pretty productive for you all along.
Yeah, I know. Wanted to try to get to the lineup, in Game 3. The Julius foul trouble kind of hurt us, Tonight I was, a little gun-shy earlier on, just, against some of their small lineups, and then I just those were the guys that were playing the best in the game and needed to get them out there. Then needed to get somebody who can handle next to Ant when we're facing that pressure. So we went back to Io there.
Yeah, Io Dosumo brought a lot of energy to the game. Is there anything Io Dosumo? He brought a lot of energy to the game towards the end of the game. Was there anything particular you said to him?
No, I think he went places today. He just struggled to finish, but he made a big one when it mattered, when we had the side out of bounds, and then made 2 big free throws. So that's what we needed from him at that point in time.
When so much of your game plan is against what Victor can do on both sides, when he gets ejected with that flagrant 2 in the second quarter, does it take guys a little bit to adjust to what we talked about coming in probably has to shift right now?
Well, some of that, but I thought we let our mind slip more than anything else. I thought offensively we were really doing a lot of good things, and then I felt like we lost our way a little bit and kind of, gave them life. I thought we had a chance to. I mean, we never expected them just to go away. They won a game in the Portland series without Wemby, so they're a very good team. They played a lot without him this year at different times, so they're comfortable with that. The mindset, we had to get dialed back in to getting back to playing smarter basketball. Beginning of the third wasn't smart basketball. We turned it over a bunch. That was really what flipped the game on us, was our turnovers more than anything else. But we knew with a lot of small lineup, it was going to be just a contain the ball game. So we talked about that at halftime. So.
Coach, you talked a little bit about Nas. Just talk about his impact he had tonight on the boards. Got hurt, it seemed like, got taped up, came back. Just talk about what you've seen from him.
I mean, huge, great stat lines by him. 9 boards, 4 assists. Again, we just talked about the offensive rebound was huge. Had a big bucket on the baseline, on the catch and go. He's really been playing, and his defense has been really good. His defense has been really, really good in this series so far, and he's sitting down and taking the challenge.
Hey, Chris, Julius made a few winning plays there down the stretch, but what do you attribute the turnovers to there early?
Yeah, I just we were probably just trying to play too fast, a little too like the one in transition. I think he, probably didn't see the guy tracking back. Maybe just kind of playing in the crowd a little bit too much. That's what. He was doing a good job of drawing the crowd, and then he found Mike a couple times. That was great, but then just they swarm you so fast that you got to be off of it quick. So.
I know you talked a little bit about Wembanyama not being out there.
Yeah.
But what changed in your approach for how you wanted to attack them defensively once he left the game?
Well, with Cornette, it's largely the same. They're a well-built team in that regard, that they don't have to change stylistically when Wembanyama's off the floor defensively. Cornette does the same thing. He sits down there in the paint, doesn't move, stays big at the rim. I think it's largely the same. We got to keep trying to go downhill, keep trying to make the defense react, and then make the right play. So not a lot changed there. Rudy did a really good job of screening. I thought he was outstanding on the screens. Freed up a lot of good offense by his screening. So.
Chris, with your guys' approach against Wemby these last few games, did you think you might be able to frustrate him a little bit, get under the skin of a guy in his first playoffs?
I mean, that wasn't necessarily like the plan of attack. We want to be physical in every way we could. I don't know if it was a frustration thing or not. So, thank you.
That's Minnesota Timberwolves head coach Chris Finch. Mo, the Wolves, part of the reason they were able to pull that game out, even though Wemby was ejected in the second quarter, was trying to get to the loose balls, making all the small plays, the winning plays that get you through a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, you have to really battle in these games, especially down the stretch. One play that really stood out in my head was the play where Terrence Shannon made a great saving the ball out of bounds, threw it over Vassell, and basically saved them a possession. It would have been an offensive rebound for the Spurs, and they would have had another crack at extending their lead or making it even a tighter game. And I think those are the types of plays you're looking at, that you're watching for, that you need to see winning those battles more often, especially when you're trying to come back. And I think, we have hard questions about, like, maybe you shouldn't have been down against a team without Wemby, but you were. But you battled back, and it starts with winning all the small plays. It's the hustle plays for the offensive rebounds and getting those opportunities to have more chances. It's shutting down the Spurs and closing down the offensive boards for them and getting those battles. Like, it's everything that comes to it. Saving the ball out of bounds, all the small things there. All those small things end up leading to big things. And I think that was something that was really important tonight.
Also, Chris Finch mentioned Naz Reid when he was asked about him, the 15 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. You have been highlighting Naz Reid's defense throughout the series, needs to step up in certain games. Great in game 1. Game 2, everyone's defense was bad. But what did you see out of Naz tonight?
Well, I mean, he must have watched us earlier, Zach, because he was all in. He was competing defensively incredibly hard. Finishing with, I think, 9 rebounds and going to work in terms of that battle with where he's at. But I think they need his offense, but he has to be able to hold up defensively. And I thought in this